right, so we are live on YouTube, so it should be popping up in a couple minutes or so. I don't know, it acts weird on the Ghost Claw one though. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it, but
GCPR YouTube channel?
yeah. Well, using the main way on Streamlabs. Something it for
like a stream delay. I guess it's like a stream delay.
No, it's just like it won't update the the stream like details, like the title of it, you know, icons or anything like that. It won't update it.
I saw that on the Villain's View on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Because you know, I was looking at my TV and I was like, oh, I can go to YouTube and go watch the Villain's View. You know, and I'm sitting down. I'm like, where are these guys? I'm like, going, they're nowhere to be found. And then I went on my computer and you were on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you were on, you know, the GCPR YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and then what happened was there was a.
Man, I was catching hell on doing that on Sunday.
There was like a 10 or 20 second delay between, you know, was it like between Facebook and YouTube? Because it started late, and it was this delay, and I was like, okay, I was like, I'm just gonna stick. I guess I'll just stick with, you know, the Facebook, because you were beyond the question, like, you know, like, I guess beyond the, you know, questions and answers that you were doing, and then
right. By the time it would show up on YouTube,
to catch up,
yeah,
it was just going at its own pace. So
yeah,
it was really strange.
Like I said, man, I was catching hell on YouTube, man. It was, for whatever reason, it did not want to, just didn't want to cooperate. You know, so I just got to do what I could, and it just was kind of like cross my fingers. I was hoping for the best. So what ended up happening, I had to actually restart it like 3 or 4 times. I had to restart it before it connected to the GCPR YouTube.
I think you should have T. Nathan do, you know, the Villain's View on Sunday night, because he has an optical hookup. I mean, come on, you know, hook a brother up, you know.
Oh my God, he's got the
he's got
the setup
channel.
He's got the setup, you know. With the he's got the whole Batcave set up in his thing, man. But we got.
I asked him if he wanted, you know, me to go to his house and go sculpt out the shale wall, you know, out of foam, so it'll look like the Batcave. He goes, "Can you do that? Is that do anything?"
Oh, that would be hilarious. But we are live on the radio. We are live on online and everywhere in between. So this is Tech Tuesday. This is 6 o'clock. You're watching the Helpdesk. I'm your host. I am Gilbert, the Angry IT Nerd, and I am here with my co-host, the best co-host in all of the co-hosts in the internet. It is Techno George. His name is George. George, how the heck are you, man?
I'm wonderful. I'm great. I'm good.
Don't be too enthusiastic, man. Somebody thinks something's wrong with you.
Yeah, it's been
2 weeks, man. It's been 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks. It's been a little over 2 weeks. But
I've been looking at some stuff. I was looking at this thing today. There's an American defense contractor startup called XDown.
Okay.
And they created this thing called the PS Killer. It is a kamikaze drone. It looks like a football.
Okay.
You gotta see this thing, man. It looks just like a football. It's got a little button on it. You throw it like a football. So a soldier in the field can throw it like a football. And in midair, after the activation button is activated, the back actually opens up, like a flower, and it starts spinning. So it's like a propeller, in the back, and then the nose, the front of the football, as it's spinning, has these two wings that pop out, and it's a kamikaze drone. So I guess it's and they said it's just like a like a throw and forget. You just throw it.
All right. What was the name of it again? Let me
it's called the P as in Peter, S as in Sam, Killer kamikaze drone. It's from a company called XDown. American defense startup.
Here we go. PS Killer drone. U.S. startup football-sized kamikaze drone. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's literally the size of a football too.
Yeah, it's like the size.
Oh man!
I would assume it has like ordnance on board, like some sort of a plastic explosive or something like that.
I mean, the whole entire thing would have to be an explosive, and I don't know if I want to hold that, man.
It travels to its target.
Man, I don't know if I want to hold that. Like for real.
Don't punt it. No, punt it. Boom.
You punt it if you want to. You punt it if you want to. You call you peg leg for the rest of your life. But I don't know. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
it's an interesting concept. I mean,
but yeah,
I mean, I think it would be good for, like for surveillance or something like that. But.
Oh yeah, it definitely would be, and especially just the size of it is an advantage as well, just because it's literally you can carry it in your hand.
Yeah, it's like the size of a football.
So. Yeah. But that's pretty cool. Again, I wouldn't hold it, but that's still pretty cool.
You have to get one of like those robotic football throwers, like like an arm.
Like one of those little
a robotic arm that throws.
Like the little robotic arms, and you just have to, you would just like put it in a little cradle, and they're just like, and just let it fling out. Yeah, like a little mini catapult. But I was having sort of a I don't know what you would call it. So a few days ago, got my Mac in, set up, and started, coding the GCPR app. Mm-hmm. And getting it built and everything like that. And so and this is where I have the kind of thing, my issue with Mac, because again, I'm not changing my stance on Mac at all. I'm not. I'm not. However, I will say the method of making the app on the Mac, it is so much easier than it is on Android.
Okay.
And see, and that's where I have that's where my conundrum is because I don't like Mac.
Yeah, you hate Mac.
I hate Mac, but it's so much easier to make an app on it. But I hate it with a passion. But it's so easy to use with an app.
It's almost it's like the old joke, like letting letting my mother-in-law go over a cliff in my brand new Cadillac. Kind of like that. It's
yes,
like
so right.
You got rid of one thing.
So you got rid of one, but you had to sacrifice what you love, depending on which one you look at.
Yeah.
But
it's the Mac. I've looked at some of the apps. They're more structured.
Yes.
Yes. Android is more open source, I believe. You can do a lot of open source stuff with it. Mac is more structured because it's more structured toward the App Store, not the Play Store. And
yeah. And
so
and also the thing is that it the way that Mac is with Xcode is that it doesn't go, it just downloads all of the software development kits or SDKs that essentially are there, not just picking and choosing. Oh, you need a GitHub, or you need a Java SDK, or you need a whichever one. Right. It just brings them all in and just uses whichever one that you need at the time. Whereas with Android, if you try to build the app, then it pops up with an error saying, "Oh, you need a Gradle SDK."
Right.
Well, then you get the Gradle SDK, and then you need the Java SDK. Then you get the Java SDK, and then you need this software to kind of add on to it as well. You need a Android emulator software SDK. Then you'd also need, and so you don't know which SDKs you need until you start actually trying to build the app.
Right. Yeah, I found with because I think Gretchen had the same problem with she couldn't hear the GCPR .live in Safari on her phone. I believe it was on her phone. I could hear it at one point in time, but when I went to 18, when I went to iOS 18, I can't hear it anymore. So I'm saying to myself, I'm saying it's not a glitch with the radio station. It's
something to do with actually iOS 18.
It could be a security. It could be like security level,
like a security
mode or something like that. And I found that out with different things. I had a client last week. My accountant. We run we run an application on she does taxes. Okay. So she uses the Intuit platform, and Intuit updated a lot of their security things, and then we found out that there was something going on where she uses something called Pro Series. So Pro Series basically is you could do taxes from like 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21 to 24, to 25. But the 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 application permissions were updated, but they never told you that they were updated. So like in iOS 18, there's application permissions for the internet, for like for certain IPs, and then there's a security and privacy mode that kind of put up like a brick wall. It wasn't a firewall. All right, I checked everything. We checked the firewall. I checked the antivirus firewall. I know this, because she uses Windows, and Windows wants to be in charge of everything, and like wants to be in charge of the firewall. So if you put an antivirus application in it, it will allow that antivirus, to go through its firewall, because it's a trusted site and the certificates are trusted. Well, the Intuit, I guess they must have updated their thing, and all of a sudden, like, I couldn't install it, and I was like, why can't I install this? I'm going in. I went in, and I went into Intuit. I went into Windows, and then I finally found the problem. It was Microsoft Edge, because she uses Microsoft Edge, and I went into those permissions and that security, and it said, Intuit is not here, so I had to add Intuit to it, to the list of programs that can be used with Microsoft Edge and those permissions, and then everything jived, and then everything was fine. So I think trying to listen to the radio station on iOS 18 is not working because I think it's a permission. It might be like a permission or a security, glitch. I think that's what it is.
Now that
I tried
makes sense.
Looking into it on the phone, because usually I can get it on the phone.
Right.
I want to look here, iOS 18 here.
Well, I just updated the system here to, what's this latest one? I think Sequoia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. So now that you're saying that, maybe this Sequoia getting everything, the operating system up to date, using the latest version of Xcode, making sure that when I build it and run it, it's using kind of the latest Xcode tools. So perhaps that'll solve the issue.
Yeah, my wife has an iPhone as well, and she can still hear the radio station on her phone because she hasn't upgraded to iOS 18. So there is something.
So there's something in that within that update that is I guess it's some kind of security fix or vulnerability that
let's see what the vulnerability
that just cuts the radio out.
It says, according to recent reports, iOS 18 has vulnerabilities related to accessibility features where attackers with physical access to a locked device could potentially gain control over nearby devices or access sensitive data like recent photos without authentication, highlighting the need to keep your iOS updated to the latest version to address these security flaws. Some vulnerabilities include issues with Bluetooth, control center, Wi-Fi components as well. So I would assume it would be Control Center. Accessibility and accessibility exploits. One major vulnerability allows attackers with physical access to a locked device, potentially manipulate accessibility features to control nearby devices or access sensitive data without authorization. TCC? No. Transparency, consent, and control would allow malicious apps to access sensitive user data like photos, location, contacts without proper notification.
Then maybe that's it then. And something about the stream from I don't know, maybe the stream from Bosscast?
It could be. I'm just thinking. No, I mean, I can. I can hear it on the computer. Like if I go to my computer, I can hear it through Microsoft Edge.
Okay.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
But I just can't hear it on the phone. So, but my computer is Windows. My phone is Apple. So
yeah.
That's the thing.
So I'm thinking that maybe this app will sort of like kind of either bridge that gap or fix the problem or I don't know, something. You know? I mean,
the play button.
Or at least be able to listen to GCPR through iOS 18.
Let's see if it comes up here. No. It says info not available. This info is currently offline. For the current track. So when I go to that with the phone, the only other thing to do, let's see, is there a way to see well, let's see what Control Center says. Customize Control Center apps.
Oh, that is so odd. And what in the hell is this dog barking at?
This update brings... Oh, wait. iOS 18.3? I guess I can update. Well, let me see. I'm going to try... I'll try updating with iOS.
I don't know if you want to do that unless you can.
Well...
But, I mean, you're going to have to anyways.
It doesn't work now. I mean, what the hell? I'll just try it. Couldn't hoit.
No, couldn't hoit. Couldn't hoit.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Plugged in. So it's going to go to 18. It'll be 18.3 instead of 18.0.1. Apparently 18.3 is supposed to work with Starlink, so we have to, find a way to, hack in to Starlink and maybe retest some satellites. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Didn't say that out loud. For educational purposes. For educational purposes.
It's for educational purposes only.
For educational purposes only.
I'm gonna use, I was gonna use my giant flipper device on.
Yes. And for educational purposes. For educational purposes only. Yes. So. Oh, when was it? Sunday? Sunday, I believe it was either on Rules or Nerdquisition or Villain's View, where Chuckles had sent a comment saying that he just got a VPN and ask if I say, give like a quick little, tutorial about using a VPN. So
yeah, the virtual private network. Yeah,
using using a virtual private network. Yeah. So
yeah, my friend Matt, when he used to live, here in America, he lives in moved back to England, but he used to live in Morristown, New Jersey. He had a VPN, and I was like, so I'm saying, so what does this do for you? He goes, well, I can access all the BBCs. So he had a Fire Stick. It was a he used some sort of an open source piece of software on the Fire Stick.
Right.
It opened up the Fire Stick to everything, so he could get anything. I mean, get every single channel, everything. But the VPN allowed him to get to all of the BBCs.
Yeah.
So there are different BBC affiliates. Well, not affiliates, but transponders to different satellites for the BBC. So you can get BBC News,
BBC America.
You get BBC. Well, that's BBC One. BBC Two is actually what they watch in England. And then there's BBC Three. BBC Three was all the sports, so you could watch all the soccer, if you wanted to. And so Doctor Who was being broadcast at the time. It's 7:00 their time, but 12 o'clock our time. I think there's 6 hours. I think there's 6 hours ahead.
They're 6 hours ahead. Yes.
He was watching it at like 12, and he goes, "Hey, you want to come over? And watch Doctor Who?" I was like, "Sure." Doctor Who, and I'm like, "So wait a minute, you're watching this in real time?" He goes, "Yeah, this is being broadcast at at 7:00 at night." I was like, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "So you're doing that with a VPN?" He said, "Yeah."
So yeah, that's
really cool things you could do with a VPN.
Yeah, and definitely one of the really cool things. So anybody that is listening and will be listening, VPN is a great little piece of software that gives you a bit of an extra layer of protection. So you don't be raw dogging it out on the internet like that. You know what I mean? So you can use it to just like how with George's friend, you can set up a location where you can watch any channels. You do the same with Netflix because there's shows and movies that are available, in Europe that aren't available here.
You watch BritBox.
Yeah.
You watch the thing with the VPN is it you have to pay for it every month. So you're paying for a protected stream. So you're not just streaming stuff and getting all of this junk. You're streaming on your own virtual private network. So your IP address, you get an IP address, I guess, from like a VPN. And it's protected. So basically your IP is not being broadcast to everybody else because you're paying for it. So it would be like if you had YouTube Premium and you had no commercials, you would be streaming to the shows that you want to watch on any of the transponders that are all over the world, like any satellite, that can get it.
Right.
You would just have to set it up. So, and I mean, you can get all the news stations. You get BBC, World News. You can get Al Jazeera. You can get there, there's like so many streaming services out there. When I had Roku, the amount of streaming services that I saw there were like maybe 600.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked at Matt's VPN, there were like
it opens
5,000, like
open up thousands of
just sports and like
and that's just because of what's filtered, and
yeah,
what's outside of the country, so again with the VPN, you set it to be, say you're in Canada, or you are in you're in Italy,
Canada stations,
or some place like that, and boom, you have access to international content. So it's definitely a great thing, a great piece of software to use. You can use it just on, any of
one thing I really
things like that. Yeah,
it's one thing I really liked, and you would have liked this too. The Kung Fu channel. They had Kung Fu the series, but in the morning they had Dragon Ball Z, and they had all Dragon. They had like all anime in the morning. It was all anime in the morning to the afternoon. The afternoon, you got all the live action stuff. So you got Kung Fu, you got The Master. Was it, remember The Master? The one with, I can't think of his name. He was like a ninja, and there was like this evil ninja who was...
Is that one of the ones with Sho Kosugi?
Yeah, that's it. That's it, Shokasuke, yeah. All right. And then at night you would have all these kung fu movies, You had Snake Fist Fighter and Enter the Ninja, 24 hours of just ninjas. It was
yeah, and again, see, and entertainment like that, you open that up with the VPN. Now sometimes, there are free ones to use that you can use, but you want a paid one.
Comet definitely TV. Comet TV is a stream you can get. Comet TV has a lot of older ones. Like Greatest American Hero. $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, stuff like that. Good shows,
Yeah. Some of the classics. Some of the absolute classics, yeah.
Classic shows. Stargate.
But the software itself, it's easy to use. Quite honestly, my personal opinion, it doesn't matter which one that you go with, as long as you have something. Whether it be ExpressVPN, NordVPN, Norton, Surfshark, whichever one that you have, as long as you have something that gives you some kind of protection.
The VPN actually does have the VPNs, the way they work is they are on a server someplace. It could be in Canada, it could be wherever it is. NordVPN, I would assume, is in like the Nordic countries.
Right.
I can't think of the...
I think I want to say it's located in Sweden. It's either Sweden or Switzerland. It's one of those two. I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say that is definitely Sweden.
Right.
Because Sweden is known as, pretty much known for, tech. Tech software, apps and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to get my I used to get this software from Sweden. It was on one of the servers I used to download. It was for copying movies.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make a copy of a movie. It was DVD Fox or Fox DVD, something like that. And I remember getting the thing, and I was like, "So where's the torrent?" And I'm looking for the torrent server, and I'm like, "Oh, it's in Sweden." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Because they got around the they got they used an American site where you could use your Visa to pay for it.
Okay.
And I think it was like $30. It was $30 to start. I think it went like to $70, but you could copy anything. You could copy software. You could copy, DVDs. Get a DVD. That's what I used to do. Go to Blockbuster, get a DVD, copy it, put it back in the thing. Okay, I'm done with it. So
Right.
and all these copies, got all my copies, and copies of games. You could copy games, which was really cool, and copy Xbox, games and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean,
it would put the code on it for you. But
yeah, I mean, it's the same concept as the '80s when you would get a dual VCR that allows you to to record movies onto a blank VHS tape. Yeah.
I used to have a program when I had my 386 computer. I had a program that allowed me to use VHS tape as a tape backup for a computer. So I could put my data onto the tape. It wouldn't. It converted. I think it converted the audio. I think converted the audio track, but not the video track.
Okay.
But I could hold I think at the time I can hold about maybe 2 gigabytes of data, maybe 5 gigabytes of data onto a VHS tape.
Okay.
And it was a special hookup. I could hook up it was like a serial port. It was hooked into like a breakout box, and the breakout box was hooked in to the input video feed, the yellow the yellow RCA cable into the VCR, and I can go from the computer to VCR. And my friend was like, "Are you copying movies?" I'm like, "No. I said I'm using the VHS tape as a tape backup, because tape backups at the time were very expensive. I think they were $28 for the tape, and then the player I think was like $400 to $500. And VCRs were only like $80. So
yeah,
just to do it that way, yeah.
If you find a way to get around it, and I don't blame it at all.
I remember the time I got my NEC multi-spin. I had 3 lasers on my NEC multi-spin, and I thought who the hell I was, man. I couldn't tell me anything. I had the I had a game, used to buy games from I think from Computer Express, the store we had, and it was in not a Cradle. What the hell was it called? It looked like a giant floppy, case, and you would actually put the DVD in it, and then you would put the top on it, and the top was clear. It had a little slide, almost like the 3-inch discs, and you would just take it and put it in. Oh, the tray.
Oh, it's like an enclosure.
Tray. But I mean,
almost like an enclosure, but yeah.
Right. It was, it was like a big enclosure. So it kind of turned it into like a giant floppy disk. And then you would just, put it into
Whichever
the
slot
reader
that,
or whatever,
yeah.
the player, and it would just pull it in, and it would read the thing. And I was like, and I remember it was on clearance for, I think, like $400. It was like $1,000 drive. I remember at the time. And you couldn't tell me anything about. I was like, I got a multi-spin.
So I could do everything.
I got a 38618 computer, man.
So you can't tell me that I could do everything. I could do everything. Oh man, but
yeah, it was funny though. And then once I got it, about a year later, they came out with just the ordinary DVD R drives,
right.
And the thing was obsolete. It was obsolete within a year, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Oh, see, that's the thing. There's some things that you just know are not gonna last. But then there's a few things that surprise you, but that one didn't. Just that one didn't.
Steve Warnick, I remember he had Close Encounters of the Third Kind on Laserdisc. And he has this Laserdisc player. This thing looked like a '78 album, man. Just put that
I remember seeing the big laser.
A big Laserdisc. Yeah, he still has that thing.
Oh man, because I remember those Laserdisc players because they look like this, like stereo players, but like a giant record player.
Yeah.
Right.
It looked like a giant record player, right? And it had with it, and his had the drawer that like the drawer would come out.
Oh man!
And you place the thing on it,
mm-hmm.
And you just hit the button and it went right in and it started playing. It was like really nice. I mean, like really clear. The sound was really good and everything. And
right.
I think it had the Toslink digital sound embedded on it, and I think he asked me the one time what it was. I said, "Oh, that's Toslink." He goes, "What is that?" I go, the Toshiba link. Toshiba, created this thing called Toslink, which took audio. It was basically an optical fiber cable, and you plugged it into the back. It had a little laser in it, so it had like a laser encoder in the back on the board. You plugged in this optical cable, and then the optical cable, plugged into your amplifier. And if your amplifier had Toslink on it as well, you would get the digital audio portion of the movie through your speakers. This was before 7.1 Dolby. I think it was like 4. It was 5.1 Dolby. So 5.1 Dolby sound was you had had 2 tweeters, 2 mid-range, and then you had a subwoofer, and that was the 5.1.
Yeah.
The 7.1 was like you had sound like I don't know, like this ungodly amount of sound, that you could put. It was still 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It was still 5 speakers, but
right.
It was broken up into 2, 4, 6, and then 7 for the subwoofer. The subwoofer was this huge thing, but it had different it had different digital octave ranges, so you can get like motor
Okay.
sounds,
Okay.
stuff like that, and then you can get like like very low music sounds, like boom boom, like boom 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 boom, and then you
Yeah.
would get like the mid range, and it was just, I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Nice.
Um, I put a projector mount, and the projector mount had a throw distance of 14 feet. So I was like, okay. So it was like 95 inches, and it was I didn't have a calculator at the time to calculate it, and
Okay.
there was nothing online that said anything about it. They said it just had to throw the image down. You would see it's moving, like and you wouldn't see it. I was so.
Oh God.
So
Oh.
I called I called up Sony. I called up I called up the place, and they said, your screen's too small. You need a bigger screen. And I was like, well, how big of a screen do I need? You need 115 inches. So I had to get a 115-inch high definition screen. Got that, and then everything was fine.
Right.
But when I hooked up the projector to the mount that I mounted onto the ceiling, the projector was upside down. It was mounted upside down. And I was like, well, how is this going to work? So what happened was, when you turn the projector on, everything was upside down. And I'm looking at I'm trying to look
Oh my God.
I'm trying to get to the settings, right? Now, usually when you're hitting the remote, right, the settings are going down, boom, 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 boom. Well, this way, this one's going boom, 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 and everything's upside down. So I'm trying to read it upside down. I get to the setting, and it says orientation. I hit orientation, and it flipped it. It flipped the image. So
Right.
then the image was like, I was like, okay, it's right side up. Okay, so it was a learning curve, but I finally got it going, and yeah, I think the first movie I ever watched in that movie in the movie room was Iron Man. I bought Iron Man on DVD, and I set up the speakers. I set everything up. I did,
Right.
I ran all the wires for all the speakers, and that room actually had 20-foot ceilings in it, so it would just echo, all the sound.
Oh, so it was perfect.
It sounded like a movie theater.
Oh, so it was perfect for a movie room.
Yeah.
Perfect for it. Yeah.
For movie room.
Oh man. That was nice. I can only imagine just how pissed you were. You tried to watch it, and you'd only cut. It was like this, and it's like.
I did that for about. I did it for about 6 months, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. I have to get a bigger. So, because I built the entire room for under $1,800.
Okay. All right.
I got remote control lighting. I got like the sconces, got all 4 sconces with the remote control lighting. You could dim it to a certain point, and then you can hit the button, and then it would just dim down,
Oh,
it was
man.
really, really nice. And then, yeah, watched Iron Man there. I watched, I had the original Battlestar Galactica. I think I watched Starship Troopers, watching Starship Troopers on that, screen. Yeah, that was good. That was really cool. And then, and then when I was done, I hit one button, and like the lights came up, screen went up, because the screen was on, it was like a motorized screen. I got it from AccuScreens, if you go to accuscreens.com. They have those there.
Okay.
And then,
nice.
I had looked into, there's a company that makes these, the Jumbotron, panels that they have for the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
In New York City.
Yeah.
There's a company that makes it for your house. So they make the panels for your house, and you could put you could create a jumbotron wall if you wanted to. So,
man.
I had looked into that, and I was like, then because if I had that, I wouldn't have needed the screen. I wouldn't have needed the projector and all this other stuff. So, I called them up one day and go, "Oh yeah, we have panels in all sizes." I said, "With it," and they said, "Well, how big is the wall that you want to put it on?" I said, "Well, the wall is 20 feet, long. Sorry, it's 20, it's 20 feet long by 15 feet high. That's how I think. I did the ceiling was 15 feet, so it was 15 by 20." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Here's your price." My price was $38,000. I was like,
jeez,
that's a little bit out of my price range. The panels were, I think they were 24 inches. They were 24 inches square, and they were high definition. They actually,
for that much, it better be
screensaver. I'm sorry.
I said for that much, it better be.
38,000. But if you put two panels together, it would take the image and stretch the image. So if you put three panels together, it would stretch the image to 3 panels, and then 6 panels and 9 panels and all this other stuff. And they said, "Yeah, we're the place who do the jumbotron." I said, "Oh." I said, "So what? I said, so what can I put?" And they said, "You could put it on anything. Like you could if you had a cable box, we have a special splitter that splits right to the screen from your cable box, so you could watch the football game on the jumbotron in your house if you wanted to, on those panels." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And that was
pretty cool.
They said you could do it with a computer. You could I was like, "Can I play computer games on this?" And they said, "Yes, you can do anything you want with these panels. These panels are all open source, and each panel has a computer in it, so it understands the input that you're putting through it, and it tries to get the best possible resolution for that thing." And I was like, "Wow!" So it was like very, very, very intelligent panel. And I was like, "Oh,
that's the kind of panel that you play Skyrim on." That's the kind of panel
scale. Yeah, everything 1-to-1 scale.
That's the kind of panel that when you see it and you start fighting a dragon, you will actually shit yourself.
Yeah.
But I will say, for that price, man, look, for that price, I mean, if you watch Stargate, you better be able to walk through that Stargate. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Stargate on the 115-inch screen wasn't bad. I watched all the episodes on Roku. Actually, I had Netflix at the time, so I had Netflix through the Roku, and then the Roku was ported through the Sony sound and video system, and then the video system was hooked up to the projector, and it would project. So I could watch any Netflix movie I wanted. I could look at so I could play movies on the player. I can listen to the radio. The radio I had, the Sony radio, had a remote. It had a remote sound. Well, it wasn't like a sound bar. It was just a speaker. So I took the speaker outside, and I could control the entertainment system on the inside, on the other side of the wall, but I was outside and I could control it with the speaker. And the speaker had a full function, like remote, already built into the speaker. So I could listen to music, I could play whatever I wanted to, which was really cool. And then you could use the speaker as, like a separate speaker, like inside for the entertainment system. Then you had another, like another sound mode or whatever you could put onto it. But it was a great system. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
God only knows what they have now. I think they have the soundbar. Soundbar, basically, the high definition soundbars put. So where I had 2 forward speakers and 2 rear speakers, or 3 rear speakers, including the subwoofer. You don't need that anymore. The sound bar, the high definition sound bar you buy for your TV, bounces the sound around the room. And that's what it does. The speakers are actually put at specific angles. So one goes out this way, another goes down, and it bounces the sound around the room. And it feels like you're in this immersive experience. Because I remember when I went to the showroom to go buy the system, they were showing Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. And they were showing the thing, and I was like, wow. I said, it actually sounds like this. And they said, yeah, pick up the sound woofer, and, you'll hear the phasers and the photon torpedoes and da-da-da and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, this is great. But, yeah. Now it's let me see what they got here. I was looking for, but yeah, the computer stuff. Okay, so let's see. I think we put the iOS on here. All right, let's see if it screws up. Okay, I'm on 18.3. Okay.
All right.
CPR.live.
So, moment of truth. Moment of truth for iOS, to see if Apple is not a thing.
See if it.
And here's the thing that almost had me with Apple. All right. So while their method of developing an app is super, super easy, then it came to the part of actually uploading it to the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not working. That's okay.
No? All right.
No, I'm I can't hear it on my phone. That's right.
Oh, well, again, that's Apple. So there's a
that's Apple.
So, and the only good spot is just being able to make that app. That's it. But the difference between putting that up in the App Store versus putting the GCPR app, Android app, up on Google
Play Store,
in the Google Play Store, is that in the Google Play Store, you have to pay a developer fee of $25 one time, one flat rate. That's it, and you can upload all the apps that you want. Upload, down, delete, whatever. Apple doesn't work quite like that. Apple, you have to pay $99 a year.
What?
Yeah. And it's one of those where you pay $99 a year and it says, oh, you pay so you'll still be able to have a listing in it. You'll still be able to access. You'll still be able to blah 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 blah. So essentially, just saying is that $100 a year, and this app stays in here. If you don't pay $100, then that's it. So,
highway robbery.
And again,
$100 a year.
Apple snapped me back to reality. And again, the $99 would be bad, but it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't like every year. So I get to a point. I get a developer fee, but not as like a subscription type of thing.
So wait, so if you upload the app, you pay $100 a year. You have to keep paying $100 a year to keep the app on the App Store?
From the way I understood it, yes.
Jeez, I mean, you can almost buy a brand new Mac.
Right?
All that money.
Right?
And this is coming from one person, $100 a year. Imagine all the other people who've written apps for the App Store. Yeah.
Yeah. Which here's the thing,
why they can create goggles that.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: if you develop an app and you market it right, and able to make money off of it and monetize it a whole nine, then essentially it would pay for itself.
Okay.
But to get to that point, though, that's the thing. You don't know what exactly is going to be the one spark or be that catalyst to oh, my app just went from having 20 people to now 200,000 people to now 2 million people to now 20 million people.
Okay.
So I mean, once you get to that point, then $99 a year is nothing, because I'm going to get 200,000 a year, so 99 is nothing.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
I can understand that, but
but still,
$100.
But still, accounting for it doesn't account for for the individual or for the small business that's starting out,
Right.
Because
I think we just need our own dedicated server, and then you don't have to make the apps anymore. We could just use the Shoutcast app, because that's supposed to go to iOS,
yeah,
or Android, and I'm like, okay. So then I was investigating it, and I was like, we can't be on Shoutcast because we don't have a dedicated server.
Mm-hmm.
We need a dedicated server. I was like, okay, so we need a dedicated physical server that ports the radio station to the internet. But then I found out the little idiosyncrasies that are associated with that. We need a static IP, and I'm like, okay, so whichever state, because we are a multi-state station, wherever the state is going to be, you'd have to pay for a static IP in that state.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so you need a physical server, you need a static IP. I get that, because static IP will anchor that IP
to the server. Yeah.
To the server. The server will port all that information, out to the internet. That's how you get listed onto the Shoutcast list.
Right.
That's how people can find you through Shoutcast. Because if you go to Shoutcast and then you go to the app's already written. But if you don't have a physical presence, you're not going to be able to use it. And I said,
Right.
well, that would save Gilbert all this headache of trying to create an iOS app and, a Google Play app and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wouldn't it be better just to do that? So then I'm saying to myself, well, wait a minute. We don't have the money for this. We don't have the money for that. We don't have the money for this. And I'm like, where is it going to, where is it going to be? So then I looked at, they make virtual cloud servers now. That you could pay for a virtual cloud server. And I looked at the virtual cloud server and I was like, okay, it's a lot of money. It's like, it's a lot of money per month. It's it's like the $300 to $400 range. $300 to $400 range per month.
Yeah.
To have that server.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's pay as you go. It's like, okay, but so if I don't come up with $400 next month, you're going to cancel my server, and your server just gets shut down. I'm like,
pretty much.
So yeah, then you lose everything. I was like, no, you'd have to have it, You
had to have something, definitely something dedicated, but at the same time, probably in-house and affordable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In-house. Yeah, it'd have to be something in-house. Jeff and I had talked to another gentleman who uses a physical use like a physical broadcast server. And I said, do you have any type of, backup or like a, like a power backup? And he goes, no, not really. I was like, so when it goes down, it goes down. Okay.
I didn't think.
Wouldn't you want to be up and running 24 hours
right?
a day? And he goes, well, we don't have the money right now. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
All right. I mean, that's your budget. I mean, I can't just say, oh, you got money. You say you don't have it. I'll just say it's this.
That's our budget right there.
Is that right? I'll just say this.
Close your eyes and tell me what you see. That's our budget.
So, right?
Exactly.
So, right? But hey, just say this. You're going to keep having the same issues until you get a battery backup.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was looking at Synology, actually. The Synology is pretty cool. It's you can use it as a server, and you can actually use it as an audio server, which I found that out the other day. I have a client who actually, we put one in her house, and she used it, for her business. So she backs up all of her computers to it. You can write to it through. You can actually access it through your phone through two-factor authentication. You could access anything on it, like pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You can create it. You can create like a movie server. But it hooks up to the internet, so it has 2 gigabit Ethernet. Ports on it. It has a USB port for taking flash. So like if you have a flash drive and you have some other data you want to put to it, it has a little input port for like USB. But you can create like a LAN with it. So you can set it up in RAID. So you can set up a RAID, which is it's a redundant array of independent disks, and I think I set hers up for RAID 2. No, I set hers up for RAID 0. So
Okay.
It has 2 hard drives on it. Each one is, I believe, 8 terabytes. But they're the thing with thing is when you set up these things in RAID, drive 0 and drive 1 write the same information, and that's called fault tolerancy. So it means that if one drive craps out, the other drive has the data on it. So there's 2 copies running concurrently on both drives.
Mm-hmm.
You could set it up where you can have 16 terabytes if you want to, and have no RAID if you wanted to do something like that. But the thing I like about it is it's extremely powerful. It uses a lot of open source software. So a lot of the software that's on the Synology site you can use. There's something called Hyper Backup. Hyper Backup allows you to do snapshots of your data and snapshots of your computer. So what it will do is, if you set it up for snapshot, what it'll do is every computer that is on your network that's hooked up to your Synology, if you run the snapshot utility, it will take a snapshot of the profiles of each of those computers. So say you have a Mac running, you have a Mac, upstairs, you have a Windows PC downstairs, you have a MacBook Air, you have an Asus, or you have like an MSI gaming laptop, in your room. You have whatever it is. It doesn't care what operating system you're using. It doesn't care what computer. It will take a snapshot of that computer, and it'll look at the processor. It'll look at how much RAM you have, how big the hard drive is. It'll actually look at the motherboard architecture and take a snapshot of that as well. So any computer on your system that craps out, say the hard drive, breaks or something like that, unlike your gaming computer, God forbid that should happen, knock on wood. But
never.
If the MSI goes down and you can't play any more games, you have to go get a brand new, you have to go get like a brand new hard drive. You put a brand new hard drive back into that computer, you go to your Synology, and you find the snapshot for that, computer, and you say, restore my MSI. It'll restore it in an hour. Done. It goes right from Synology to that computer. It'll rebuild the drive from scratch. Operating system, all your games, all your applications, everything, boom. You reboot your computer, there it is. That's what I love about, that system.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just absolutely super convenient right there.
But the thing I like about it is that you could we could possibly use that as a GCPR server. So we could use that as a music server for for the station. And you could keep all the shows on it too. And it's scalable. So the one that I saw, it has 12 drives. It can hold 12 drives, 2 hot swappables, and then 10 drives, I believe, up to 10 times. Was it? It was up to 8. I believe it was up to 80 terabytes.
Okay. All right.
So,
yeah.
That one is like
definitely enough room.
It's like $2,500 for that thing.
Oh, and that's not bad.
It's $2,500 for the appliance, but the drives are going to be more. The drives are going to be in $200-$300 range.
Oh, I thought that was all together. I was about to say that's all together. That's not too bad.
No, it's 20. It's going to be.
But with all together, then pulling a Gretchen right here. We are pulling a Gretchen. because we got to do the math on this one.
Let's see here. Synology. It's a Synology NAS, so it's a network access storage device. They make a which is the larger one? So this is the 12 bay one. $1,800 for the 12 bay. Comes with a quad core CPU with 4 gigs of RAM. That's $1,800 for that. Then you'd have to get the Seagate Iron Wolf hard drive. It's 7,200 RPM, 256 meg cache for RAID network attached storage. Iron Wolf drive is about 8 terabytes. It's about $180. So you're talking 12. Get to my little handy dandy calculator if I could find the damn thing. Doing 8 times. So that would be 96 terabytes, but we're doing that be 180 times 12. And then that's $2,160 for just the drives, plus $1,799 equals about $3,959. About $4,000 when we're all done, which is not too bad.
No, considering the specs, no, it's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Considering a traditional server build would be in the $15,000 range, $10,000 range.
Yeah, 4,000 is
yeah,
coming out ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I've saved many a client by putting one of those Synologies in there. They're like, oh, well, where's my server? It's right here. Everybody's going from one, everybody can access the drive. Well, what if I have a phone? You can access it from your phone. What if I have a tablet? You can access it from the tablet. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't care. It's just a hard drive that's on. It's like an online hard drive. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the thing what always throws people is the term server. Is that a lot of people don't seem to realize that a server is just a computer that it's just been purposed to to handle networking, but
right.
Essentially, it is a computer. Still,
it basically, and you're with it, and you're basically just using the hard drive from that computer.
Right?
So why not create a NAS, a network attached storage device, which is a giant hard drive that everybody can
access,
get information from, and put and put information to.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but
the one really cool thing about Synology is that if you have another Synology at home and you have one at the office, you can do a sync. So it will sync over the internet to that Synology at home. So you have an off-site backup. So if your business burns down and you lose all those drives, you didn't lose all your data. It's right there. And then Synology also has they actually have a service called remote cloud storage, so you can pay for it every month, and all of your, I guess, your entire business records. If you didn't want to keep a physical Synology at your house, you could do a cloud, like cloud storage. I forget how much it is. I think it's per year. Synology cloud storage.
See, we're about to find out.
Cloud storage backup. One terabyte is $60 a year. That's like six bucks a month, which is not too bad. That's the basic.
Okay.
Advanced is
it's not bad. Let's see, advanced is what, $69.99.
Advanced like 69. Yeah, it's like $70 a year.
Okay.
1 terabyte of storage. Select your storage for more.
It looks like it's able to share.
It has hourly backups, customizable retention policy, data deduplication, hybrid share, multi-site file sharing and syncing, local cache for frequently accessed data, file and folder pinning. All data stored on C2 servers is protected by AES 256 encryption. So it's encrypted.
Yeah.
So then nobody can if anybody grabs it, they're not going to be able, to read your data because it's encrypted.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. C2
That's
server
pretty cool.
Cloud backup.
Is it Taylor hybrid cloud solution? Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think that's just the main term that I think that what always throws people off is calling a computer a server.
Right.
Because, and I think what a lot of people, what they see and they think of when they hear the term server is like in some movies or images on the internet where you just see like just a whole rack of just machines.
2U servers,
yeah.
2U servers in a rack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what people kind of associate the term server is with something like that.
Right.
Instead of realizing that a server can look just like a personal computer, because essentially, I mean, it kind of is.
There are videos on YouTube how to actually turn your old, PC into a NAS. You can turn it into a NAS. I mean, I built them when I was at Intel, and it's just basically a computer with software on it. Either either Mac. Well, Mac uses Time Machine, I believe, for backups.
Yeah.
But if you did the Mac, like if you did like the iMac or the MacBook, and you were going to save something on Synology, you could just do Time Machine backup, and it would go. Synology, I mean, it's made for Windows, it's made for Mac, it's made for Linux. So if you have like a Linux server or something like that, and you're privy to Linux, you can also do it through Linux. But I mean, I used Time Machine on Jeff's Mac. It really didn't run too well, but I think it was just a limitation of having an Intel chip on like Mac architecture. But
yeah, it's possible because Mac architecture is finicky.
Motorola. It's Motorola. That's the the M2 chip, the M4 chip. That's Motorola.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not Intel.
It's finicky.
An Intel chip on a Mac is like, I don't know. It's like putting a like a Ferrari engine into a Model A Ford. Like,
yeah.
It.
I mean, it doesn't quite go together, you know. But let's see. Again, it's like Apple's just almost there. It's almost there. The one thing that I could have said, honestly, I could have redeemed Apple, and I would have had to eat my words of Apple is all right. No. No. Apple did what Apple did.
It's a great computer. When I shut it off and I walk away from it, it's a great computer.
It's awesome when it's off. No, but I would say objectively, Mac is fine. If that's your fancy, that's what turns you on, hey, that's great. But personally, again, like I just said, it's not for me. Not for me. I got it because it's literally the easiest way to make an iOS app. Because trying to download a virtual software so I could be able to essentially make a Mac OS emulator didn't quite work out. Looking at certain services where you could rent a Mac online, which essentially is just like remote dialing into a Mac, but the way that the services were structured, again, was not the best option. It was really expensive, and for the time and the days that they were giving you to use, it wouldn't have been enough time for to develop this app. It really wouldn't have, because I mean, per month you would get like 7 days, 10 days, the entire month, depending on how much you're willing to spend or what your budget looks like. So it's literally the easiest way was just to break down and buy one.
Right.
And again,
you can rent it. I'd have to throw it across the room.
And here's the thing: there was a service that you could actually rent an actual either an iMac or a MacBook Pro. But those services were only available in like big cities. Like cities in California, like Dallas, Texas, like Manhattan, Brooklyn.
You could just order one, and just order like a brand new one. Okay, do what you had to do,
and then return it.
Oh, I don't like it. It didn't. Was it? It didn't suit my needs.
Just return it.
Yeah, just return it. That's all.
Said that.
Just write the app for it.
Said write the app and then set it back to factory settings and just like.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for me, so I just want my money back.
Yeah, I just want my money back. People do that. People did it all the time. Trying to find a Stinger hub. Where did I see that? It was an encryption? I think it was encryption hub. I saw this thing online. It was in my tech feed. It was called the Stinger hub. It's I think it was encryptor box. It was like some sort of an encryption box. I forget what it was called.
Okay.
I can't find it. It's not in my feed anymore. No. I do not see it. Okay. Yeah. Trying to find it here. Intel i9 mini PC. Windows 11. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade to Windows 11 pretty soon. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be like getting a barium minima.
Yeah, same here. Problem is that I literally have to on all of my systems. I'm going to have to upgrade the chipset. More than likely upgrade the motherboard too. So
yeah,
because for whatever reason Windows has Windows 11 won't work on on the hardware it should work on, because for whatever reason it decided to go the route of Mac and be finicky with certain products. Again, there's it was one more solution that was that I could have used to make this app. Would have been building what's commonly referred to as a Hackintosh. Which essentially is just building a custom computer with a Mac operating system.
Right.
Problem is the exact same thing with Windows 11. You have to use specific type of motherboards, specific chips, specific what else type of RAM. Like it's extremely specific of what you have to have. And brands, speeds, from chipset, motherboard, video cards, hard drive, everything.
Did you see the Hackintosh they have? That's it looks. Oh, here it is. Second generation 8-inch computer replica Macintosh. Oh, this is on AliExpress. That's why.
Oh.
Let's look at this thing. $733. Computer replica Macintosh retro computer desktop all in one.
And
it
let's
looks
see.
like a Macintosh. Based on Macintosh Classic, retains curved design. The front, yeah, everything else. Okay, single monitor.
That's true.
What does it use?
Oh man.
In display mode, the external host notebook, TV box, game console, PS5, PS4, Xbox, Switch, and other devices that can support HDMI output. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the original.
Okay.
It even has like that retro mouse on it too. Huh.
Yeah. I remember that.
Did you ever take the old Macintoshes apart? You ever like pull the back out?
I never took them apart. Because
on the inside there's a stainless steel shield that goes over the electronics. If you pull that out, all the people who worked on that computer, all their signatures are embedded on that stainless steel cage.
Oh man,
steel cage. It's really cool. Yeah,
that is pretty cool. And see that I would have never known that. Never would have seen that because see at the time, under a technicality in my lifetime, this is the second Mac that I've owned. The first one, let's say, all right. This is the second Mac that I've used. This is the first one I've owned. The first one that I used, my mom owned.
Oh.
And I hated it. I did not like anything about it. Did not like how it operated. Did not like how it looked. Did not like it. I hated it. Since then, that hatred has flourished.
It has been well founded, yes.
It has. The seed of the hatred of Apple began around roughly 1985. And
maybe the professor can use your computer. Hello, computer.
Right.
I know you didn't like the voice. I thought Voyage Home was fun. It wasn't fantastic, but
the funny thing that's Voyage Home was the first Star Trek movie I saw in the theaters.
Yeah,
that was the first one I saw in the theaters. I kind of regret that.
Oh,
anyways,
yeah.
No. I'm like, I mean, at the time when it came out, and it was in the theater, I was excited to see it, and I liked it. I liked it. I really did enjoy it. And then I think it's one of those ones. Once I got older, and I looked at it again, I was like, oh, I really like this. So it was one of those where I loved it. Because of one, I was a kid, and then two, it was like a big deal, and I know a lot of.
Well, they did in the beginning of the movie, they did a shout out to the Challenger crew, who perished in the explosion, which I thought was good. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool. It's
kind of like putting, I always like those episodes of Star Trek where, they beam down to a planet where the civilization is not as advanced as Starfleet, and they kind of have to hide the things that they're doing and everything, and Kirk's in the restaurant, with the oceanographer, and
Right.
and he has like he has the Klingon communicator with him, like going, what's that? Well, what's what? You have a beeper. Are you a doctor? Yeah. And like, okay.
Right. No, but yeah, it's one of those. It was a big deal for me, as a kid, because, because it was in a movie, it was in the theaters, and never got it. And going to the theaters, in the 80s back then, that was a monumental event,
Yeah.
Like you didn't go to the theaters often, so yeah, that was. And oddly, my dad took me to that because he loved Trek.
Oh,
he did. Of course,
that's cool.
That was one of the many things, that he got me into was Trek, Godzilla, wrestling, whole other stuff. Anything sci-fi, anything sci-fi, fantasy. Yeah.
My dad was not. My dad used to just love, like war movies and action movies. That's it, because, so, every June 6th, we'd watch, The Longest Day, A Bridge Too Far. We'd watch all these movies. Oh God!
But yeah.
Yeah. I never saw Wrath of Khan in the movie theater. I saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture in the movie theater when it came out.
Right.
Wrath of Khan I didn't see. My brother told me about it. He said, "Oh, you gotta see it." Oh, da, da, da. I was like, "Yeah." and then it came on. I think it came on HBO when we were watching it on HBO. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Oh, with Christopher Lloyd, as the.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was a Klingon, wasn't he? Oh man.
Kirk, are you gonna give me the Genesis device? No. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. That's all I could think of. I thought of Jim from Taxi.
Let's see. I was thinking of Doc. Doc Brown.
Oh, Doc Brown. Yeah.
It's like
it's Doc Brown.
It's like Doc Brown as a Klingon.
Yeah.
Marty, you patak. We have to go back to the future. You patak.
I remember Sci-Fi was Sci-Fi was on at that time. The Sci-Fi Channel, and they were showing a Trek marathon, and he goes, "There's 3 constants to the universe. What was it? Klingons love Shakespeare. Something else," and then he goes, "and even numbered Trek films don't suck." It was like a tagline that they had, and it was hilarious. I was like, "Yeah, like all the even numbered Trek films were good." Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
It was okay.
It was okay. It was just like a beauty shot of the new model. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's all it was. I was like, and and then 2 came out, and 2 was good because it was Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
3 sucked. 4 was
at the time it was good, and then
Yeah, at the time it was good. It brought the crew and everything together. And then 5 was directed by William Shatner. That sucked. And
And
then
that was
6, The Undiscovered Country, was better. And I was like,
say, well, I mean, comparatively speaking, I mean, it had to have been better than 5.
Plan B. B.
Right.
Plan B. B for barricade. He's not serious. I'm like, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh man.
Not enough Jameson in the world to wipe that memory out.
Not enough.
Not enough blood wine in the world. Oh, I was looking at. I have to send you the link to it. There was a guy who made a batleth. Out of steel.
Really?
Yeah, made it out of steel. He welded it all, and he was showing. He made it for a customer of his, but he actually put a blade on it, like he put an edge on it, and he made it out of I think, what did he make it out of? 240 steel. I forget what it was, but yeah. And he did it all by hand. He's like a he's like a metalsmith, and
nice.
He's like putting the thing in the fire and doing it all by hand, and he was doing like a little bit of welding and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was really cool. It was like, oh wow, this is really nice.
Yeah,
made out of steel, like real steel, and then it's wrapped with the like the leather braids for the handles.
Yeah, I have nothing but respect for anybody that can do blacksmithing and metalworking like that and stuff like that, and do welding. I have nothing but respect for them. Nothing but respect for guys that could do that.
I gotta find it
because
I put a new one in my feed.
Because the times I try blacksmithing, I don't have the patience for it. I don't. I do not have the patience for it.
Bennett the Smith. I'm gonna send it. I'll send this to you. Where is it? Damascus steel. Bennett the Smith. He's a forge weld. Where's the batleth? Come on. It's in like 2 or 3 parts. Forging a batleth. That was 6 years ago. So let's see here. I'm gonna share that. I will put it messages.
Yeah, that's cool because I've
one to you.
Cause see, I've always wanted to get a batleth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have. Because years ago, I got it was from a Comic-Con that I got a Macleth, which is the knife.
Mechleth, which
is the Mechleth.
Yeah, which is the
knife. Yeah. So, or the dagger, the 3-pronged dagger, and I looked at it. I was like, oh, I have to have this. And of course, the batleth is one of the blades I want to get. But I know it is woefully out of my budget.
Renaissance Fair. He was a sword maker, and he made the Kurgan sword. Now he didn't make the actual. He made a replica of the Kurgan sword.
Okay.
Highlander. And I said, I said, "Did you make it so it comes apart?" He goes, "Yes, I made it the same way in the book. It comes apart." And I was like, "How did you do that?" He goes, "He put these two ball bearings on either side, kind of like a dimple piece,
Okay.
and then on the blade is basically the one end is like this, and then the other end comes to a point like a shorter point. So that's basically the center of the sword.
Okay.
And then where it meets, it like clicks in. And I was like, so wait a minute. It clicks in, but how do you unclick it? He goes, you unclick it from the pommel. And I was like, oh.
Huh.
And he goes, I said, because in the movie, he takes it and he puts it together, and then he's, doing all these tricks and stuff with it. And
right.
I'm like, how's the blade not coming off? And he said, well, he put a spring-loaded pin inside the pommel, so when you actually hold the handle, there's a little thing for your thumb. Now, the thumb there's actually two. There's one to release the blade, the top blade from the middle, and then there was another one to do the guard. The guard actually comes out, so it comes from here and it goes out like this. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And he goes, yeah.
That is cool.
I said, how much is that sword? I was like, dude, how much? I said, how much money did you? He goes, it cost me to do all that, because I did it on a machine. I machined it, but most of the blade he did by hand. Like he put it in the fire. He banged it all out and stuff. And I was like, wow. I was like, how much did you sell? He goes, he said I at the time, 1992. I think he sold that thing for like 50 grand. Like he could sell that sword for 50 grand. And I was like, did somebody buy it? He goes, somebody bought it from me. He goes, everything worked on it. You could take it apart.
Oh man.
Case. I did the whole thing. I said, did you ever do like the Klingon batleth? And he goes, no, it's a tricky. He said it's a tricky, design to get right. But he did make the dagger. The dagger has the thing where you flip the
thing,
and it goes, and the things come out. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yep.
He said the blood. Yeah, he said the blood groove is he put a blood groove in it, and I said, well, did you put the blood groove? He goes, yeah, I did that. He said, but to make that. He had to do it in two halves, and then he had to weld it. He basically had to weld it together, and then he had to smooth it all out and stuff like that. And he said that's how I got that, because there's a long blood groove, but it's like a hole. It's like an oval, hole on both sides. I said I saw the model kit for that. There's a model kit that they make, but the real, it can't do justice to the real thing. And I said, did you ever? He said, yeah. He said, he did like the McLeod sword, the Highlander sword, and stuff like that. And
nice.
He's making all these swords and stuff. But yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, wow.
Batleth is one of the ones that I've wanted for years, but I know I cannot afford. And that and the Blade Daywalker sword. Those two swords I've always wanted. But
the Blade Daywalker sword.
Yep. The Daywalker sword.
The handle goes, it like spins. It spins and then it goes.
Yeah.
It has the four,
like part of the
rungs that come out.
Yeah, the part of the pommel on it
Yeah,
twists
the pommel basically has these four, I
like these little like spike
etched blades. Yeah, there's spikes that come out, and it comes out from the handle.
Yeah.
So if the handle's like this, it goes, like that, and it takes your hand off, like it did to that guy in the movie.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so you want that?
So, but I don't think that one. Well, the one I looked at, I don't think it did that. It was just plain, plain sword, pommel, and whatnot. Yeah. But the one but this mek'leth though, that's the crowning achievement I've gotten from a Comic-Con was that mek'leth.
Museum Replicas actually has a lot of swords. I don't know. They have the Roman sword. They might have they have some Bushidos. Let's look at the shop here. Licensed products, I remember. A lot of Lord of the Rings stuff. I know they had Norsel. They had Boromir's sword. Yeah, they have that. Trying to find Highlander swords. Let's see if they have it. I thought they did.
Now the Highlander sword would be awesome to get.
Yeah, sword of Robert the Bruce, $350. The museum replica stuff is really good. It's actually made in Spain. I really wanted to take that course. There was a course in Spain, ancient sword making. And it was, at the time I wanted to take it, it was $15,000 for that course. But you stayed there for like almost 6 months. And they showed you step by step how to make a sword from, the pommel, the hilt, the blade, everything. And then polishing, shaping, and they did it in the old. They did it in the old real world way. In the old world ways. So they showed you basically how to do it. I don't know.
Nice.
If that course is still available. It was available in the in the 90s.
So,
but
maybe. So it maybe still be open, but there's probably more that opened up. And on that brings us to the end of this show.
Sorry.
So yeah, we just got lost in time, man. That's all it was. We just got lost in time. So coming up next, we've got TKE Tonight with Jeff Kennedy. After that, we've got Hurricane Girls with Sheila Chappelle and her crew. And ending out the night, we've got Conversations with T. Nathan. So stick around and you learn something, have a couple laughs at the same time. And this show is brought to you in part by cns-computers.com. You got a VPN and you went to the wrong site still, and you got hit with something, even though you had a VPN, didn't you? I know. The angry IT nerd knows. I know everything. You got a virus, didn't you? Yeah, you did. It's nasty. You got a worm. You got all kinds of stuff that's going on with it. Take it down there. Take it down to cns-computers.com. Servicing the Stroudsburg and East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania area. They'll get everything fixed for you. They'll get your system running right as rain. Tell them George sent you. You might get a discount. You might not. I don't know. But still, just go down and visit. Say hi. Visit them. They like that too. So, check out cns-computers.com. get your stuff fixed today. And on that brings us to the end of the show, man.
Yep.
It's a great show.
Thank you.
It's a great show, man. So
sent you the
sent me the link to
the link to the Kurgan sword.
Oh, lovely.
20 pounds. I don't know what that is, and
yeah, that's a little bit too heavy for me. I will have to lift a couple more weights in order to lift that son of a gun up. But that'll bring us to the end of the show, and so that's it for us.